The news is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Romney Tortola Pier Park, NV Salon, Nail Spa and Barbershop, Tisley Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, and Digicel, simply more speed, reliability and entertainment. Their efforts did not go unnoticed.
Well, I'm sure that most of you would have read the news if you haven't been to the garden recently. You must have seen or heard about the whales that died in Anegada. And we know that, Chris with Beyond the Reef took on the challenges of trying to see what they can do to try and to save those whales as best as they can in terms of, I suppose, as well as disposing of the remains of those that died. And even though I have to say, Chris, I am learning a lot now more about Beyond the Reef. Prior to that, I wasn't familiar with the name per se. So this has been an educational process for us. And we are very heartened and encouraged that you took on the challenge and your organization was able to save, I believe, at least 2 of the whales. And I think that's incredible because all the bulletin that I saw says, leave it alone, there's nothing you can do, and for whatever reason, your organization decided to, no, we're not going to sit back and do nothing. We're going to make something happen, and we did. In fact, save 2, so I think that's incredible. And I think that, the fact that we now know a little bit more about Beyond the Reef gives us an opportunity to see how the Rotary Club of Central Tortola can work with you. Perhaps, in addition to coming out on some of your projects, perhaps we can help spearhead some of the public relations campaign to create more awareness, because I think it's important that we do protect the coral reef, among other things. As you said, I too have been living here for some 24 years and believe that the BVI is indeed one of the most beautiful places on this planet. And I said to a lot of my friends, I just won't trade places. I like to get off the rock ever so often, but I will not trade places. So I want to thank you on behalf of the Rotary Club of Central Tortola.
Beyond the Reef received the plaque of honor from the Rotary Club of Central Tortola yesterday, July 21, 2022.
Thanks to you for, in recognition of your heroic efforts, saving pilot whales in Anegada, Rotary Club of Central Tortola says a deep, deep gratitude of thanks to you all.
This all occurred last evening at the Rotary Club of Central Tortola's first meeting for the Rotary year. Now, since the events of early July, when a pod of whales were discovered stranded at Anegada, Virgin Islands, the work of Beyond the Reef has seen an increased interest in what they are doing to preserve beyond marine life for the Virgin Islands, things they have been doing for some time now.
We also focus heavily on saving the coral. At the moment, we have strike teams working in conjunction with National Parks Trust, Ministry of Natural Resources, and we go out weekly. We have numerous divers treating coral for different coral diseases, the primary one being stony coral tissue loss disease, which is destroying all of our reef systems in the BVI. We obviously aren't experts, so we're guided by scientists, but we do our best. We have a team of marine biologists, oceanographers, and then we're led by the ministry, Arjo Horton and Mervyn Hastings, who are primary leaders in this effort to try and combat, which we really don't have an end goal. I think right now it's a case of saving what we can save so that there's something for future generations. One of our other projects which we're really big into is cleaning up the ocean. Our goal, we've just purchased a boat, bought it for Beyond the Reef, which ideally will be going out 5 times a week in the near future, is to clean up the ocean. We clean it up on a regular basis. We've recovered thousands of tons of fishing nets, garbage and plastic. And even this weekend that just passed, we did a cleanup of Cooper Island. It's great. It's our first cleanup where we've had a bunch of local kids involved. Up until then, it's been a more hands-on approach. We did a big cleanup earlier this year in Anegada, where we did have Rotary members join us. It was great. I believe we had over 200 people help clean up the coastline, and we made a very small impact. Unfortunately, where we're positioned in the BVI, we're on the outermost point, and the Atlantic Ocean feeds us all of its garbage. So I think it's our responsibility to keep our coasts clean. That in turn allows our marine sector to thrive. Every week that we go out, we recover tens, hundreds of nets. I mean, we're talking like tons and tons. I've got photographs of me using a barge and crane to lift them out the water. And we do that every single time, and we bring that back. The end goal with that is to find a viable recycling program for that, versus just taking it to the incinerator. But those nets trap whales. Last year we had whales trapped by them, and those are just what we know about. They trap whales, they trap turtles, they trap dolphins, and they destroy the reef system. When a net comes into our waters, which is pretty much every day, every other hour, there's a net coming into our waters. It goes across the top of the reef, it smothers the reef, and then when it gains momentum, it leaves the reef system, but along the way, it destroys everything in its path until it reaches the beach. When it reaches the beach, it then disintegrates, and you end up with plastic in the sand. And that's where our turtles breed, and all of our other species that feed off that chain are then impacted by the plastic. So those become microplastics, and that ends up in our food chain. The fishermen, the local fishermen, and everything else then face that as a pollution. So our goal long term in the next 5 years will be our boats working 5 times a week, and hopefully we'll have more boats. And then to support our local agencies with enforcement, at the least right now, is to provide them dive services, vessels, so they can get on with the job. They're understaffed and they don't have the equipment. It's something that it doesn't matter which government's in power. The main problem we have is that there really isn't support and funding for our biggest thing, which is the environment. Don't want to go into the political speech, but I think unless we do something very soon, we're going to be too far behind to get back on top. The BVI is the most beautiful place on the planet. It's impossible for anyone here tonight to say that there's anywhere more beautiful. You can't sail for less than half an hour in an anchorage. Your children's children deserve that. And right now, I see it that there's a chance that we could actually put the BVI on the map. There's a chance that people can put everything aside and focus on really important things. And the environment and integrating children and marine science and academic, all of that tied into one, that's the future of the BVI. Fast scooters and cell phones, and that's not the future. And that's not what the BVI is about.
Chris Jordan is the founder of Beyond the Reef, along with his girlfriend, Kendall Berna. With this JTV News Update, Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Deliciously smooth.
Hey, you. Put on some muscle?
I did?
No.
Rapid growth and reliance on digital systems has opened new vulnerabilities, and additional layers of cybersecurity are required to combat sophisticated cyber attacks. Simply Secure's security management solution helps overcome these challenges. Our service includes 24/7 protection for network devices, computers and servers with automatic restoration, security audits, and penetration testing. Don't wait for disaster to strike. Contact us today.